Welcome to another Michigan football show, Trainwreck Edition. I'm Bryn Mickle.
And I'm Aaron McMann.
And look, everything's out the window. I mean, this team's an embarrassment. You know, another national disaster on Saturday night. What's going on?
I wouldn't go far as embarrassment, but keep in mind, you know, if you step back and realize, you know, preseason, many of the prognosticators had this team going 9-3 or 8-4. This team is young. It's one of the youngest in the country. They've got problems on offense. But I think new this time, and this is something they've leaned on all season long now, is the defense. In a way, the defense was exposed on Saturday. You know, they gave up a huge chunk of rushing yards early on. Saquon Barkley rushes for 69 yards on the second play from scrimmage, and then they have to rely on the secondary. The secondary is a group I've been worried about all season long. They've played well up until Saturday, but they struggled. And when you go up against a deep and talented receiving group like Penn State, you saw what happened.
Yeah, but Harbaugh was brought in to fix this stuff. You know, the $7 million man comes in with all these big expectations. We're 3 years into, you know, the rebuild, and we've had 2 national night games and 2 games where, you know, they get embarrassed.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that this is one of the youngest teams in the country. You know, they've got youth and inexperience on the offensive line, an area we keep talking about every week, I feel like. They got some inexperienced guys at receiver, so that's one of the reasons why this offense has gotten clicking.
So we talk about youth, but I didn't hear those excuses from Urban Meyer last year when he had a young team and he was contending for a national championship.
No, you didn't, but you got to keep in mind too, the Cupboard was a little more bare with Harbaugh. He had to come in and build it up a little bit, you know, go through the recruiting process, bring in some of these talented guys, and he's done a decent job. You know, he had a talent-laden team last year with several NFL guys, as we saw. They won 10 games. The last 2 years they won 10 games. Remember that Harbaugh can win. Yes, it hasn't been as accelerated as a Meyer or as a James Franklin, but he's right there.
So is the seat, though, at least getting a little bit lukewarm?
I think a little bit, but keep in mind, too, that next year was supposed to be the year where this team breaks out, where they win that 11, 12 games, play for a Big Ten title, and do all those great things. Now, if they don't do that next year, then I think the seat does become warm, but at the same token, can you find a coach that's any better than Harbaugh? I mean, think about it. You know, if you go through the NFL or the college ranks, there aren't too many names out there that you can bring to Michigan and plug in there and win right away.
So, glimmer of hope, Ohio State. If somehow this team can win, does that save the season?
I think it does. This program could go 3-9, 2-10, throw any awful record out there. If they're able to beat Ohio State at the end of the season, all I think is forgiven. Not only does it salvage things, but it gives them momentum going into next season.
Before you even talk about beating the Buckeyes, you got to beat Rutgers first.
You do, and this is a game I think where Michigan needs to wipe clean the taste from Penn State. They've got to throttle the Scarlet Knights. They've got to come back on offense and play well. I look for John O'Korn to have a big game. I look for them to go back to the running game. I'm taking the Wolverines 28, Rutgers 10.
I'm not that confident. Honestly, I think you have a team that right now is searching for an identity. Do I think Michigan loses? No, I think maybe 17-14. Well, that's a wrap for another Michigan football show. Join us next week when hopefully we're talking about a win over Rutgers.